Do I need to do a poo first?
Oi, go on then. Do you need to do a gunner?
Welcome to Not So PG. I'm Brooke. My pronouns are she and her.
I'm Matty Mills. My pronouns are he and him.
Right at the top of this episode, we'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record this podcast on.
And for me, that's the Gadigal People of the Eora Nation.
And for me, that's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. All right, Matty, let's do
get
it.
into it. Watch out for the big girls. Hey, watch out for the big girls.
I've missed you.
Oh my gosh, I've missed you. It's like, if we're finally back in studio. I don't enjoy the remote records. I
know. I love being in person with you.
Yes. I mean, like, this is like a good halfway point, I find, because at least we're both in a studio. But when we're absolutely remote and, like, we're at home just with, like, the dildo-looking microphone and we're, like, just, like, you know, talking, it doesn't feel the same.
It's just a microphone, Maddie. It's not a dildo.
But it does look like a dildo, because I can tell you now, I've travelled with this thing, and every time I go through customs, it's like they stop and they're like, "What is this?" And they point to the screen, and you can see the outline of it, and everyone in the line, in the baggage, like in the security line, is looking at me like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "It's a microphone."
Well, when I had to go to Argentina to film the challenge, I took my podcast gear.
Yes.
They did the exact same thing to me.
Yeah.
They were like, what is this? They stopped me and everyone was like, and I was like, just podcast gear?
It's like you've got one of two guesses, a bomb or a dildo. It's like nothing in between.
Literally, there's nothing in between. Yeah. The two extremes of our life.
Gosh, how's your week?
Well, I don't want to take it away from you. I know you've had a tough week, but I feel like you seem very light today.
Yes, I feel like I've come back to Sydney after 3 weeks of sort of crazy.
Being in country.
Just a really tough time being back home with family and organising the funeral and everything that had to be done for my brother. So the last 3 weeks has been like one of the toughest periods of my life. But coming into this week, I want new vibes. I want to take that step forward. I want to get back into work. I want to get my routine back. I'm getting my gym routine back.
Pilates,
eating better.
Hey? I mean, you are glowing, and I think it's nice to hear that you want to sort of like a reset, like a push button reset. Let's go again. And I want to acknowledge you because I think you're the most beautiful and strongest human I've ever met.
Oh.
And to just only come off the back of your brother's funeral and, you're still in that healing process, to see you now and just like glowing. I know that, it's all upwards from here. Oh. And, I think, your family is so lucky to have you. I'm very lucky to have you. I always look forward. Like, I literally get so excited to the podcast because I'm like, I just want to talk to Maddie. And you're wearing a fabulous fucking T-shirt, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it. I think it's very much like, it takes me back to the start of the pod. You remember when we were doing our pink and orange vibes? So I was like, you know what? Like, back in studio, let's really go for the pod colours. But what you were just saying, I feel like it's sort of a bit of a superpower of mine to be able to move past moments quickly, but I also have started to realise that I think I need to work through stuff instead of just moving past things.
I am in the same boat.
Yes. It's so... Yes, tell me.
Yeah. Well, my week has been unpacking that trauma. Mm-hmm. And look, we both, that's the reason why we naturally gravitated towards one another, was the fact that our experiences were so similar, right? Mm-hmm. And we've both had that superpower of, dealing with really extreme circumstance, but then flipping it and then making something more positive about it. So always looking, the light at the end of the tunnel, or, the calm in the chaos. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been our superpower for so long. Yeah. But I think at the same time, we do suppress, even though if we're not conscious of it. And I'm trying to really get it out and work on it and surface it, deal with it. And then, I think I'm going to be better for it. And I think realizing that at the same time.
It's funny, isn't it? It's so funny because, like, I've had that realization where I'm like, I know that traumatic experiences in my life, they happen, and then I'm able to sort of hurdle it, like jump that hurdle and keep on running. And then I wait for that next hurdle and I'll jump the next hurdle, you know? But I know that my dad said something to me that he was told at the age of 55. So this was like 10 years ago he was told this. And he was told that he was a ticking time bomb. He was full of experiences and traumatic events in his life that he didn't work through. And so it's led him to be full at capacity with negative experiences that he just didn't work through, and now he's, you know, sort of
dealing with the consequences of it.
Dealing with the consequences. And you know, and he, what it looks like for him is a depressive state. And like, so it's, you know, he said that to me, and I think that was the trigger for me that that brought on that realization that, you know what, like, I actually do need to work through things. I can't just keep on putting them to the back of my mind and moving on and past them so quickly, because like I think I have an ability to be able to forget trauma. Like, I forget it.
Same.
And
I'm like, oh wow, that actually happened.
That happened, yes. And so like, I don't think that's as healthy. It's a temporary fix, but not a sustainable solution. So like,
agreed.
Oh, look at me with the temporary fix and sustainable solution. That was a lovely sentence.
I love this for you. Wow, I love
Therapist
this.
talk.
What I've been calling it, a spiritual awakening.
Yes, I love it.
It's like you wake up one day and you're like, wow, I have some shit to deal with.
Yep.
Fuck, I better deal with it.
Yeah. But I had, like, you know, in the middle of this chaos, I had an incredible event that I took on for work months earlier. So, you know, I was back home doing the, you know, funeral arrangements and being with family, and then I had to fly back into Sydney for one day to host the Sydney Dance Company Gala.
I saw
and
the fabulous suit.
Wore the most beautiful suit I've ever seen in my life. But you know what made it more special is that I went to this fitting, and I promise you this is not paid, this is no promotion, I'm not sponsored to say this, but I went to this fitting for this company and Savio Suits, and I had like a wardrobe allowance. So as part of the gig, they were like, you know what, like you
can buy something.
You can buy something. But there was, you know, a cap on that, and then whatever it went over, I was going to pay for myself. You know, like I like to look good, which makes me feel good, which makes me perform well. And
I have the same saying: look good, feel good, play good. Yeah.
Yes. And
you have to. It starts with the suit.
But you know, went from home, and I was back in Sydney, and I went to this fitting. In the middle of this chaos and this, you know, awful week, I get to the counter and the guy who owns the suit company, he's like bringing up the bill, and it's like thousands of dollars. This suit was like $2,000, right? And know what he said to me? He goes, I want to gift this to you and you can have this for nothing. And he just hands it to me. And I'm like, what? So I got that suit for $0.
Oh my God.
And there was no obligation to post. There was no obligation to talk about this.
He just gave it to you.
He just gave it to me. And in that moment, I was like, I got so emotional because I was like, this is the kindness that I needed today, you know?
And you know what? It was like, you know, putting on that suit, like, yeah, it would have been great if, you know, if you even had bought it and you put it on, you're like, fuck yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was also like gift and this guy that just makes it like so much better. You're like, fuck yeah.
I know.
Like,
and I was just like, it was
cape.
Because I knew that it was an expensive suit, and I was like, you know what though, I'm gonna rock this suit. Like, this is gonna be one of those moments for me that I'm gonna look back on and be like, yeah, of course that was worth it. And I get to the counter, and he's like, I'm like, okay, so like, you know, how much is it? And he literally said to me, well, what do you want to pay? That was the first thing he said. And I said, oh, well, whatever you want me to pay. And then he looked at me and he goes, I don't want you to pay. And he just gave it to me. And I was like, what?
Was he trying to flirt with you?
No,
he
was a straight man with 3 kids. We got the life story out. I was there for hours trying on all the suits. But
that's probably why he liked you. Obviously, you're so lovable, Maddie, but at the same time, he would have been like, wow, this guy is just like so wholesome. He's actually asked me how my day was.
Yeah, he's probably like, oh, he's taken like me away from my kids and wife. Thank God, no.
I mean, I thought it was going to be one of those, you know, that kebab guy that you spoke about previously on the podcast who wanted to have
the
like
Manush guy,
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like one of those moments again. And I was like, oh, Matty,
I didn't get that vibe at all. Not at all.
Because he's so naive to it. Like you are just like, you're just being nice. You're kind of like you're so nice that you don't realize that you're being nice. Like and you're being super friendly. That you know, sometimes it can be a bit over friendly, and then some people interpret that as,
yes, it could be. It could be that. But you know what? What inspired, like from that suit, that moment, it inspired me to paint my nails. So I went from the suit fitting with this beautiful silver suit, and I went and painted my nails chrome silver to go with the suit, and it was I loved it. But
do you paint your nails often?
No. And the next day I was carrying my brother's coffin, so I had to like actually remove them the next day. So like I didn't want to be like, you know, at the funeral with these fucking
chrome
nails and being like, oh,
being
look at me, you know, like it was but
no, I get that, but you should rock it. I think more men are painting their nails these days. There's even a campaign that that's happening called Polished Man, I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
And it's, you know, I think it's in support of mental health. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah.
And men and women are getting involved with just painting their one nail or, you know, however many nails you want, just to raise awareness and raise money for this mental health charity, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see more men paint their nails.
Yes. I love it.
I'm a big, like I used to paint my brother's nails when he was younger, and he always had this mentality that it was only a girl thing. And my brother is like this big 6 foot tall tattered guy. He's quite masculine. But one thing that he always loved doing for me was letting me paint his nails.
Oh, I love that.
And he just would cop it. Like he would just be like, fine, like, you know, do whatever. I used to dress him up all the time. And I wasn't always like I wasn't a very feminine girl, I must admit. I was quite, you know, I was one of the boys kind of thing. And so that was my only, like, I guess, a hobby or interest in feminine things was painting nails and maybe putting a little bit of makeup on.
Yep.
Other than that, I just played footy and, like, did all the boys' things. And so... And it wasn't like at those times it was very different, right? There was boys things and girls things, and pink was girl and blue was boy, and that was like how it was. But because we're breaking down so many gender norms now, that's changed. And so back then he thought it was just a girl thing, and I was kind of ahead of my game in that way, and I was like, no, anyone can paint their nails.
Yeah.
And so I'd sit there and paint his nails, and he had the perfect nail bed for it. Men have the perfect nail bed. I can imagine yours.
I love my nails. I really do.
Yeah,
like, I love my
hands
actually. I think I've got good hands.
I bet you do, Dals.
Yeah,
it's probably not the first time you've heard that.
I really like my hands. I'm a hands guy though. Like if people have pretty hands, I'm like.
Yeah.
Like one of the first
small
things
hand
I will
syndrome
notice
is one of my icks.
Oh, wait, small hands?
Small hands small hands is like one of my biggest icks on a man.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what?
Women,
you know what people say about and this is definitely like in our not so PG content vibe. If I always think
staying on brand.
Yeah. I think that fingers can actually allude to what their penis looks like.
Okay.
I really do. I think
I'm trying to think now.
You know how people say like feet are this, you know, the feet correlates with the size of the penis. I think that if you look at somebody's hands, not that you need to picture penis fingers because that's just wrong.
That just reminded me of that. Like, would you rather dick fingers or vaginas as toes?
Oh, God. Devon toes. Yucky.
I'm so outdated. Okay, so you're looking at their hands.
Looking at their hands, I think that like if they have pretty fingers, like if they have nice fingers, that their penis would be pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't think so? Enough. I don't know. They're not a turn on for me. Don't go getting the fucking story twisted here, guys. But they definitely, for me, they like...
Maddie's turned on by fingers.
Well,
That's the first.
if you know what to do with them, of course. Anyway, I want to know about your week. I know that you had a massive week. You had some downtime. You went to a retreat, but then you also got a copy of your book.
Oh, yeah, it's been a big week.
Mm-hmm.
See, I need to process these things. This is why we are in that stage of unpacking. It's going to be scary. It's going to be so scary doing that, and I'm ready for it.
Yes.
But I went on a retreat, and these are the things that happen in my life where you meet people and you're meant to meet people. Like I was meant to meet you, and I was really open to, this. It's just so weird. I met this girl. Her name's Natasha Bamblett, and I met her at a charity basketball match that I just said yes to randomly online from another lady that I met in Geelong. Like, it was just weird how it all happened. And then at the basketball match, I reconnected with my best friend of 10 years. Like, so random. We both live in Perth and we were living in Melbourne and we saw each other there. It was just this really strange ass scenario.
Yeah.
And so I met Natasha, or Tash for short. Anyway, she reached out to me. She was doing a TED Talk. She asked for some advice. I just sent her a message because I was obviously in Argentina for a while, so I didn't get the message. She smashed it. And then she was talking to me about the retreat she was holding. And I was like, what retreat? I don't know why, but I need to come. And she was like, oh my God, random, one spot opened. And is that not like fate? I don't know.
Wow.
For me, that's just too coincidental.
Yeah.
So I went on this random retreat. I had no information, no idea about it. It was 4 days. I was just like, this passion inside me was like, I need to go. I need to do it. And prior to that, I booked another retreat that was actually supposed to happen the weekend just gone.
Okay.
And so I had already booked one, and this was going to be my second. But there's this part of me inside. Okay, so I'm learning to acknowledge the feelings that I have and act on them, like in a moment of like intensity. Like if if something's drawing me really intense, I'm like, you know what? And some people might say it's an irrational thought or feeling, but I'm like, you know what? I've never been like that, so let's just go for it. So I went on this retreat. Absolutely life-changing.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, I was really scared at the start of it to acknowledge the fact that I have gone through a lot of traumatic experiences, and I've been so good at, like you said, running, jumping the hurdle, and keep running.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, if I start unpacking this now, where am I going to fall, and who's going to catch me?
Oh, 100%.
Gives me goosebumps. So I was really scared. I was really vulnerable in that mindset, like in that moment to be like, what's going to happen here? But we were with 15 other women, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal. Tash is Aboriginal. She's Eora, Rajari. She's got a lot of mob, and she is one of those people that could just touch you and you instantly feel like connected.
Wow.
She's just one of those amazing souls. So shout out to, Tash, who's on Instagram as @QueenAcknowledgement. She's amazing, honestly. If you follow her stuff, she's so beautiful and so like well diverse in that, that culture, connection to culture and like healing. And so it was a healing retreat. So at first it was like the natural heal of, overcoming something is to surface it, get over that hill, ride that wave of whatever it's taking you. It could take you low, it could take you high, whatever. It dipped me so low and so heavy, and then you work through it. You keep climbing, and then for me it was just like, oh wow, like it was just it was breath work. We did meditation. We went on a silent walk for like an hour where we were just in our thoughts and feelings, and we just connected to land, country, culture, and we did ochre painting, just really beautiful stuff.
Yep.
And so I needed it. I needed to honor myself and honor the fact that I was there and I showed up.
Yep.
And the only way that I can show up for other people if I show up for myself.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
where I was at. I was like, I'm not showing up. I really needed to dive. And I'm on this journey now. And so there was a reader who connects you with your ancestral and spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh my God, I need to do a reading. And so I did a reading. And it told me everything that I needed to know and what I needed to hear, but also the hard truths of if I don't deal with this now, I'm just going to keep carrying this and I'm not going to show up for my community because I'm not showing up for myself. And that's the message that I got, and that's what I'm doing now, is that I'm learning that I can't, and I don't serve anyone in anything if I can't look after myself and take care of myself and nourish me.
Yep.
And so that's, it was amazing. I honestly, like, we need to do a retreat. I think everyone in their life
I've never
just
done
needs
one.
I
need to do one. I want to book one like immediately. I really feel like I need it because you and Radawoy Hick are two of my closest friends, right? And you both have similar approaches to healing.
Yeah.
And it's so
I could see that. I haven't met them.
Yeah. But it's so inspiring to me when I hear these stories because she sort of is really she's someone who's really aware of herself as well and someone who knows herself deeply. And I feel like that's you. And so she goes on these retreats and like she has these like awakenings and these like life-changing experiences of connection. And I'm like, that's what I need. I've missed
if you crave it, it will come. It will come at a right time and it will come at a perfect time and there'll be a message that you need to hear. Yeah. And the thing is, the first part of it, and like if anyone knows how retreats work, you got to have like an openness to it, first of all. Like you've got to be really open. And that's why I cancelled the one that I just had over the weekend, because I got what I wanted out of the first one. And I still want to put in the work. I want to keep that momentum. Yep. But this weekend, I was just like, I am not open to it.
Okay.
I'm putting in the work that I need to from the last one.
Yeah.
And the message that I got was the purpose that I have in this life and on this planet and on this earth, world, whatever you want to call it. The street, Nova.
This location.
The message that I got was, I was searching for this purpose. This like what am I doing here? Yeah. And I know that, and I've always known that, and I lost that for a second. And my purpose is to open the eyes of people, to open people's eyes to my culture, my Aboriginality, my First Nations history, and representation of many cultures and many communities that we represent, I represent. And I was like, why did I lose that for a split second? I was the first First Nations bachelorette.
Yep.
Why on earth was I feeling lost?
Yeah.
And I had this wake-up call and I like realized, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just The Bachelorette, like, who gives a fuck? Like,
but that, but
I give a fuck.
And also representation matters and it can change people's lives.
Exactly.
It can absolutely change the trajectory of people's lives who come into contact with that representation.
100%. I've got homework for you, actually. And to anyone who is listening, who is feeling like they, are talking down to themselves and not giving themselves a pep talk that they need, or you need, I don't know, a kick in the ass. I suggest and I challenge you and I action you.
Sure. Go on. She actions you.
I action you. I don't know what that word was, but we'll go with it. Yeah. Is to print off a younger version of yourself, a version that you love, and an innocent photo of yourself, and stick it to your mirror in the morning, in your bedroom. And every time you want to be negative to yourself, or you want to talk down to yourself, or your inner voice is telling you that you can't do that, look at that little person and say that you're telling that person exactly what you're saying. Wow. And it's not fair. It's so not fair.
That's powerful.
It's like, it is. It's like, I have such a negative inner voice and I don't know why, because everyone says, oh, well, you've got your shit together, Brooke. Like, you know, you even just said, like, you seem very well assured of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I am, but in my inner voice, in my inner dialogue, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm very insecure, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm okay to admit that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Everyone is
that
insecure. And that's the reality. Because when someone said, somebody said once said to me something about insecurities, and all I could think to myself was, yeah, everyone is insecure, you know, like, and
we all have our, you know,
and that's very normal. I feel like if we see insecurities as a fault or like a flaw, I think we're not seeing it for what it is.
We see them as cracks and we don't acknowledge them. But this is the best opener into what I really, you know, I get excited about and like where the future is going.
Yeah.
Is I know my purpose in this world is to really show people and, you know, open their eyes up to representation.
Yes.
And I know how you are you're on the same level and, you know, you're passionate about it as well and equally.
Yeah.
How amazing has it been to see the first ever black, as in like...
Little Mermaid?
Little Mermaid.
The first black Little Mermaid. Oh, my life. And it's Halle Bailey. I know that I was about to say Halle Berry, but it's not. It's Halle.
I mean, she's a queen as well.
She's a black queen as well, but it is Halle Bailey. And you know what? I have followed Halle Bailey for years. So I remember her when it was her and her sister playing the piano on YouTube, singing their songs as a little duo and racking up like millions of views online. And it was like I think they were about 14, between the ages of 12 and 14, her sister. And her sister is a queen in her own right, and that's Chloe Bailey. And she's like massive R&B superstar.
Yes.
But Halle has like obviously like just killed it in terms of her own career, because Chloe went down the R&B route, and then Halle obviously has gone down like the acting, singing route.
Yeah.
And
don't you just wish you were one of those like fucking talented families that all your like, you know what I mean?
I've said this in the past. All I wish to be is Beyonce. That is it. Speaking of Beyonce, she signed both of them. So Beyonce
there we go.
signed Halle and Chloe Bailey from YouTube. So they were singing her song Pretty Hurts on the piano, acoustic vibes. It racked up millions of views. And then Beyonce signed them to Parkwood, which is her record label. And then since that moment, both of them obviously been very fully supported by her resources and have had her backing. So they've gone on to do amazing things. And you want to know something?
Amazing. Yeah.
Halle's audition for The Little Mermaid was the first audition that the producer saw, and nobody else who I had heard this thing online. It was like he said that he saw her first, and then nobody that came after her was as good as her.
There we go.
I'm like, oh,
it's meant to be.
Life.
But like, you know how we get so excited to see that, and you know, we get excited when Beyonce does something extraordinary and we're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, but imagine like our younger selves, like I said, looking at the younger self in your mirror, being like, talking positively them and being like, look what I'm doing now, like you're gonna do this.
Yes.
And those little boys, girls, non-binary kids, whoever out there, and they're like seeing themselves in The Little Mermaid, being like, oh my God, that's me. Oh. You can't be what you can't see, guys.
There's a beautiful video going around on TikTok of little black boys and girls watching Halle in the trailer for The Little Mermaid and crying, being like,
I cried.
She's black. I'm like, oh. Me. That is just
and this
so special.
Means so much because I just think I wish I had this growing up. And I am so excited that I am able to actually just even show representation in a different area, you know, and I had my own mainstream television show.
Yeah.
And people that it's, you know, I feel like I'm kind of creating like a little ripple effect, and I want it to be waves.
Yes.
And this is it. Hallie is creating waves.
Yes.
This is like groundbreaking stuff. I think it's like groundbreaking stuff. And if you can't see it like that, then I suggest and I hope that you open your eyes to what it means for, you know, minority groups and communities that haven't ever seen that representation ever in their lives.
Yeah.
I remember watching Moana and being like, that still connects with me, even though it's not even the same, you know, cultural line.
Yeah.
It's Polynesian, New Zealand, all those Fijian cultures in one, but it's still connected because it still had that sort of.
She's a person of colour.
Exactly.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
It's beautiful. And speaking of representation, like this week, Flight Centre and Sydney World Pride put out a campaign for World Pride, and it was like the invitation for our international friends to come and, you know, be a part of World Pride. And the rainbow that they chose, every single person representing a colour on that rainbow was a person of colour from many different minority groups across our country.
Oh my God, I love that.
And I was like, representing the orange colour in this flag.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was just...
Milo.
There's
Milo was green.
Yes.
And Maria was yellow.
Yellow, yes.
That's right.
And yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's so important. It feels like we're moving forward. And I think for me, that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, wow, every single person on this campaign is a person of colour and they're representing Australia. Now, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Back in the day, it would have been a picture of, you know, a white twink and a white bear and a white lesbian and a white gay and a white antelope. Nah, shut up. No, but you know, it would have just been like a picture of all white fellas, and it's changing. I know that in the States they're ahead of us, and you can see this because lately there has been some black girl magic shit happening.
I agree.
Like not just with Hallie, but like across the board.
Well, let's talk about Lizzo, for instance.
100%.
And her speech at the Emmy Awards. Yes. Was that not even another groundbreaking moment for Black women, people of colour, and even just like, what do you call it? Like even defying
body and representation for
I'm
big
trying to
girls.
say this in a... Well, that's what I mean. Like,
yep.
I feel like, you know, TV and mainstream media has always fat shamed and been so discriminative of bigger women and men and non-binary people. Like, and that for me, like her speech was like, that's exactly what we were just talking about before. All she wanted to do was see herself represented wholly, fully, spiritually, emotionally, physically. And her speech was just another you know, momentous thing in the way that we're moving, like, you know, where we're moving into more progressive times. And I feel very, very excited about it.
Let's hear the speech. Let's play it.
The stories that they shared, they're not that unique. They just don't get the platform. Telling stories. Let's just tell more stories. When I was a little girl, all I wanted to see was me in the media. Someone fat like me, Black like me, beautiful like me.
Yes.
If I could go back and tell little Lizzo something, I'd be like, you gonna see that person, but bitch, it's gonna have to be you.
Oh my gosh, what an icon. Oh,
that should have been my bachelorette speech, I swear.
Yes.
I would have been like, but that just literally, again, get that little photo, guys, and stick it on your mirror. And every time you have either a negative or positive thought, remind yourself that is your little person, and you're just like, you're doing what you need to for them.
Yeah. And you know what? She's worked her fucking ass off to get to that point. Like, I watched the series. I've been a big fan of Lizzo since she, you know, came out with, you know, her, I think it was called Juicy.
Yes.
What was it called?
I just remember watching
song.
this Netflix series and that song Truth Hurts was on it.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And then that's when I realised that I was like, I'm addicted to this song. Whatever song they're singing in this Netflix series. Like, but they were singing like, why man great? Oh, wait, is it my man great till they gotta be great?
Yeah.
And that was like, I was like, wow, this actually hits deep. And I Googled that song in that series and I came up with Lizzo and that's how I discovered her.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise she had all this music written already. Like she had all this album already and she just kept releasing music until she was like picked up. And
so
that
it was 3 years later that her song, like she had released that song 3 years prior to when it blew up. That's unheard
so she
of.
was just doing it and hustling, not needing the validation, not needing the recognition at that time.
But damn,
and then
did she
just
get
blew
it.
up. And exactly. And you know what? That's like I respect that.
Yeah.
I think that is like so wholesome. I know that I've actually I love a lot of other artists that have done the same. Have just like, you know, produced so much music and then just like bang, released it and then blown up.
You know what I love, absolutely fucking love about Lizzo is she puts her money where her mouth is. And she's, you know, been about representation, both black but also for people who don't fit the social norms for what people have in the past been expected to look like. And she created this series and she showed the hard work, determination, fitness levels, the skill, the love for dance through like a group of like 12 big women from all different walks of life, but they fucking turn it out. Like they are just as good as any other dancer that is performing on stage. And she like made that very apparent in this series.
Exactly.
And I loved watching it. When people create series, normally they just come in and out of the moment, you know, like if they're a superstar, they will create a series, their name's attached to it. Yes, they'll be involved, but they'll be very distant from the competitors or from the competition or from, you know, the actual, the show. They're sort of in and out. I found that she was always there. So she was always
in the series. I haven't watched it, and I'm actually now listening to you. I'm like, I'm going to go watch it because
you will love it.
Yeah,
yes.
I feel like it's good to know that you're getting that experience as well, and you feel like a closeness to them because they're there, they're present in the moment, and they're like, I don't know. It's like I guess like it's kind of like when people watch, you know, reality TV, you feel very connected to them because it's semi like, you know, real and it's happening in real life. And it, like, you know, I feel like we're now realizing how behind we are. And sometimes these are just absolute reminders of how important representation and visibility is so important for people. And, you know, we're moving out of those colonial times where it was just stereotypical white, blonde, blue-eyed people and, you know, and it's not, we're not in that world anymore.
Now we've got Lizzo winning Emmys, Zendaya winning Emmys. Who's going to be the first black fella from Australia to win an Emmy? It's going to be me.
Isn't there not been one?
No?
Maddie.
Watch out for the Maddies. Hey, watch out for the Maddies. Nah.
All right, well, on that note, you...
See you at the Emmys next year? Nah.
Yeah, see you at the Emmys next year. What is our not-so-PG moment this week?
Oh, okay. I've got a cringeworthy not-so-PG moment.
I love cringe.
Oh, you're going to cringe fucking hard on this.
I love it when you get so cringe that your vagina and your asshole clench at the same time.
Oh, babe, it's going to be clenched for days after this. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was scrolling on the socials and I saw this ad pop up. And it was an ad to create a song, a personalised song for a loved one. And so I clicked on it and I thought it was
I'm already dying.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be super cute. It was I was in a moment of feeling, I was feeling like very loving,
loved.
And it's not what I'm feeling this today. That's for sure. It was like weeks ago, and I was feeling the vibes, and I just wanted to like do something cute. And this was absolutely not cute. It was cringe. So I went onto this website, gave them all the details of my relationship. And
just exposing, okay, keep going.
Where Paul and I met, what some of our favourite memories were, and and paid hundreds of dollars for a personalised song. Oh, dead. Okay. But so they were like, oh, who do you listen to? Who inspires you? And I was like, Ariana Grande. And so the start of the song is like it's so bad, and as bad as that voice. And I got it sent to me. And I paid literally $300 for this personalised song, but I'm never going to play it. And Paul doesn't listen to the podcast anyway, so, he's never going to hear this. And if you're one of his friends, do not tell him. But I've got a song sitting here that is like, it even references his favourite cartoon, his favourite
Can you please,
person, which is Buffy.
Play it.
Buffy! It references fucking Buffy in the song, and it's called Rainbow. The song is called Rainbow. It is the most cringe thing ever. I'm telling you. And the chorus is, "You're my pot of gold under the rainbow." Oh my God, I'm cringing. Oh God.
I mean, shots, like, kudos to you for trying to be so romantic in that moment when you're so resourced and all you want to do is love something and someone.
Yeah,
and you think
it didn't turn out.
It's like love letters. I have every partner that I've had, or even just like someone I've seen, has written me a love letter.
Oh, wow. That's cute. So my plan was that I was going to go for a beautiful drive to a location and randomly put the song on, and he'd hear all the references and be like, this is super cute. Babe, I'm never going to show him. Let me read the first bit of the lyrics. 30 seconds, that's all it took. We were kissing in slow motion, and baby, I was hooked. I'm cringing so much. Okay. And oh my God, there's one line in this song that says,
this is an expensive song too.
Just like Buffy, you're extraordinary. Just like Buffy, you're extraordinary. Dead. I am dead.
It's actually really cute.
No.
You've got a full version of this at Matty
I will send to you. And we will put the lyrics in the show notes for everyone to sing along. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. So, okay. But he's never going to, I'm never going to show him the song because I'm just not there.
Can you please sing?
I will send it to you. That? But so that's my not so PG moment. More like the most cringeworthy moment of my life. I was trying to be cute and it just didn't work out. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Look, so that's it. But
fuck, you make me laugh. That was hilarious.
How cringe.
Okay, well, on that, like, that's very romantic. And I'm thinking
not really.
No, I think it's cute if you paid $300.
Babe, I fucking paid. Can you imagine if, like, say if we were together, right, and I was driving along and then that song came on, the first thing that he's going to do is go, skip. Like, he's going to be like, that's a shit song, and skip. Like, he's not going to...
You never know. No. He might be in that same, resource-loved vibe that you...
trust me, we're not there. We are not there. Sorry, but we're not.
But, yeah, I was thinking to what I've done, like, cringeworthy but semi-romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean... on like that, I've had someone write me a song and sing it.
Oh, was it good? Please tell me it was good. Oh,
I don't want to out them, but it was so bad. And
was it someone from The Bachelor? Bachelorette?
thank God. No. Someone definitely. But I mean, I've had some. The Bachelorette was pretty cringeworthy in some ways because like people had done things which is so romantic in the moment, right? And then
nothing is more cringe than you handing them a rose and validating their experience.
Accept this song.
Here's the rose. Yeah, accept this fucking song. That's number one. And then number two is here's a rose. You are validated.
Yeah, literally. We need to change that. Maybe like not roses. Like
$20 Coles gift card.
Here's superannuation.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, what's your not so PG moment?
I just feel like on that level of not so PG moment, like what is the most romantic thing that I've done?
Yeah.
I'm like sounding like such an asshole, but I don't have one.
What do you mean? Like for 3 months of your life, you were shooting in the most romantic locations ever.
I know, but the funny fucking thing is that I am okay with being romanced. I'm not the romancer.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yes. So have I done some cringe things? I've probably written messages. Yes. I probably have them in my notes still to this day. Actually, let's see. Should we go back?
Ooh.
Should I go back to my messages?
Okay.
And see if I've written a letter to someone?
Yes.
And just not name them?
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is very candid. Okay,
oh my gosh, I can't believe I showed that song. How embarrassing.
Okay, so I can't find a love letter, but I have found where I've written notes in my phone and I was noting things that they've liked. So this person, favourite flowers, daisy. Favourite cocktail, espresso martini. Favourite season, summer. So I've gone through and like favourite dog breed, Staffy. Favourite colour, blue. Favourite place to visit, Norway. Favourite language, German, Spanish. Food, bacon and egg breakfast. Scariest thing they've ever done, giant swing. Most hated food, seaweed. Biggest fear, losing friends and family. So I feel like that's pretty
cute.
romantic.
That is romantic. Like you're literally like making sure that you're across all the things that they love and are interested in.
Clearly.
Well, I think my not so PG moment is cringe enough for us all. So maybe we'll wrap it up there, hey? Okay, well, thanks everyone for listening. Follow us on socials at It's Matty Mills and at Brooke.Blurton and at Nova Podcast Official.
And we'll sign off with the love song.